2/3 vote. 921 votes were cast. 2/3 of 921 is 608, which is needed to pass. Yes votes, 712. No votes, 209. The motion passes by 2/3 vote.
Welcome to the first Superintendent Spotlight TV show. This will be a regularly occurring show that will focus on different educational topics, topics within the West Bridgewater Public Schools, and educational topics that affect us from federal and state mandates and regulations. We thought to kick off this show, we would do the thing that is probably one of the biggest things that has happened in the town of West Bridgewater, and at least in the West Bridgewater Public Schools for a long time, and that is discuss the new middle senior high school and how the transition was now that we are here for a full year. We moved in September, and we're coming to very close to the end of the school year. So today we're going to be talking to our principal, Mark Bodwell, teacher Jamie Pope, science teacher, and also later in the show we'll talk to some students about what they thought of the building and how we transitioned to it. So I'd like to start and introduce Mr. Bodwell and Mrs. Pope as my guests now. One of the things or three of the things that we looked at when we were designing the building, and Mark, you were on the school building committee with me for the last 5 or so years. Yeah. We wanted to have a collegiate, college-like feel. We wanted it to have flexibility because we wanted the building to last 60-something years, and who knows what education's going to be like in 50 or 60 years. And we also wanted to make sure, though, that we kept the small school feel, but also had big school opportunities. And I believe that we did achieve those three things. So what's your opinion on how it went this year, and what you think of what we achieved in the new building?
I mean, this has been an amazing year for us. It was great. The anticipation was high to come into the new building, and we always said we had great kids, we had a great staff, and we had an aging building, and we knew that this new building would bring us into the 21st century learning environment and encompass all the things you just mentioned. So our staff and our students were very excited to get into the building and to take advantage of all the wonderful things that it has to offer.
Yeah, and one of the things as far as the college feel, I know we've had a number of schools come in and visit that are, or administration from schools that are being built. We had one as far as South America or something that came up to see our building. And when you first walk into the cafeteria and the Google stairs, and you get that campus center-like feel.
Absolutely. It's almost like a student center. It's Main Street, as we call it, when you walk in and you look into our cafeteria, but also you turn the corner and you see the stairs leading up to the Learning Commons. That's active. That's an active area all day, before school, during school, for the lunchtime, and also used for classes, but also after school. We see many students hanging out after school, using their Chromebooks to do work on the stairs, the Google stairs as we call them, using the Learning Commons after hours. Kids coming back for practice, and they may have dinner there before practice, meeting with friends. So it's a real collegial atmosphere, and the kids love it and the staff loves it.
And it works out that everything's in one space, and we can lock off the academic wing so that we don't have to worry about kids being out there, people from the public being out there. They won't get into the academic areas, which before we had the gym on one end of the building, the auditorium on the other end, so everyone was walking through the whole building.
It's great to have that community side of the building because it is used throughout the day and evenings as well.
Now, Jamie, you teach science here, and you also you worked in the old middle senior high school, but you were a student in the old middle senior high school.
Yes.
And I won't say many moons ago, but so you know what a traditional science classroom and lab look like, which a lot of times has the classroom tables and then either lab benches around or lab benches behind, and they're two separate spaces. But the way that the MSBA designs science labs now, they have the mobile tables that are more flexible. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so in the older lab setup, all of the lab tables, they have to have like a special surface, right? Because whenever we do experiments with chemicals, you want to make sure that the surface of the tables is appropriate for that and that it's safe for the kids. So you can't have the same surface for that as you would like a math table. And because they were always bolted to the floor, it really limited your ability to use that space efficiently and effectively. So I think I'll use the example of a chemistry classroom because it's an applied science and we do a lot of experiments, but we also have a lot of problem solving. And so the fact that the lab benches are mobile, we can have them set up a lot of the equipment and preparation on the side benches because science got spoiled. We have very large classrooms now and a lot of space. And so the preparation can take place on the side. And then in order to get more space for the safety too of carrying out the experiments, we just roll the benches and the seats right up to the other like prep benches that are attached along the perimeter of the room where all the gas jets are and things of that nature. Then if I'm solving some type of maybe like a stoichiometry problem or something like that, we call them the breakfast bars. We can then take the tables and rearrange them kind of like like an L shape so that the kids can roll up and then I can actually move between each breakfast bar location so that as they're working on solving problems, it's easy for me to get to every student instead of the old setup, they're all in rows. And so now you're shimmying in between the rows to try to get to every student. So it allows me to get to each student if they have a question. And then also, for other classes like biotechnology, we have debates. So then I can move the lab tables and set up, different unique seating for debate. So it works really well.
And science was always traditional. And like you said, if the lab benches were bolted in and you just had that, it would be hard to do other things. So not only is the flexibility for the spaces so that, 40 years from now, science may change whatever, or we could even take desks out, and if we need an extra room, maybe it doesn't even need to be a traditional science room. But really what we're finding then is the flexibility helps with varied instructional strategies.
Yeah, it really does.
So it adds to that, which other classrooms got naturally, but science never had the opportunity for that.
Right. Yep.
What about the prep areas?
Oh, well, the prep areas are gorgeous. We have a new chemistry cabinet. The old chemistry cabinet had this really old, rusty chicken wire.
I remember that.
I think I tried to clean it one time prior to the walkthrough of the building, and it was just horrible. And now we have a complete area that's it's locked. Like we don't have to worry about kids walking through and getting into any chemical access area. And also, you can enter through the outside hallway. So a lot of the teachers say they teach in a different room and they have to make up solutions for another class period. They don't have to walk through the classrooms that are connected to that area, so it doesn't cause a distraction. You can actually get into the chemical area and then into the prep room without distracting any class that's going on. Right. And that helps too if you're trying to move a cart that has a lot of glassware. It's kind of hard to move it without making a lot of clinking noises, and it's a distraction.
Yeah, and now again, there was just one before, and now every teacher has access to a prep room.
Yeah, and the prep room back then, I mean, it was, you couldn't
wasn't
pass
really
each
a
other.
prep
You
room.
couldn't pass each other.
It wasn't really a prep room. It was more of a storage room.
Yeah, and not to mention the fact that we have chemical hoods
Right.
in 2 in each room. So that alone gives us a huge variety of class demonstrations and experiments that we can do in the hood safely, because sometimes they give off chemicals that need to be removed.
So do you feel that because of the facility, because of the science facilities, that you're able to do things that you just tried but couldn't do before?
Well, it allows me the ability to do things that I absolutely could not have done before in
Okay.
a safe manner. It allows me to do things better that I used to do because, for instance, when I was trying to do a demo in the old school, there was no front and back to the fume hood. So just me trying to be there and provide a demo, I'm actually blocking the view of most of the class. In this setup, I don't block any of the view, and so everybody gets to see what I'm doing. And I think that the mobility of the spaces, it allows us to do things that we were doing, but we used to get complaints for, like using the gas. If you
Right.
think about it,
Right.
like we use the gas a lot for Bunsen burners to heat up things, and anytime we would turn on the gas in the old school, everybody would know because they'd smell it.
Right.
And now we don't get any comments,
Right.
no complaints. No one knows because it's an appropriately ventilated
Exactly,
space.
exactly.
No one knows,
Right.
and which is fantastic.
Which has obviously, I'm sure if I talk to all the science teachers, really enhanced what we do for science education.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, we had a great science education program before. We have a lot of kids in the past that are interested in science, and we do have a high percentage of kids that go on to science, STEM type fields. So I think this is really going to propel them so that they'll just be on a better level and be more prepared when they go to college to really excel.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you're giving them that step up. So, I mean, like I said, science is spoiled. So we got a lot of new equipment too. That at least I know when I was here, we never got to touch or see. And your first introduction was when you go off to college.
Exactly.
Now our students are already going to know how to use some of these pieces of equipment that many other students won't ever have the opportunity to use. So.
Right. And as far as size, you said the regular classrooms here are 850 square feet, and the science labs are 1,450 square feet. And I always made the joke that one of the cabinets that you have for storage is what I had in the old science room when I was a science teacher, and now you have like 10 of them.
Oh, yeah.
So there's plenty of storage. So they are great rooms, and I think I would say that 2 of the major changes, the real big upgrades from the old building to this, was science and the auditorium. And then the third would be the technology, because it allows us, the infrastructure allows us to do so more. So let's talk a little bit about the technology. Mark, we went with a one-to-one infrastructure. What do you think of how that was implemented, how it went, and what have you seen?
Seen great things across the board. When we rolled it out in September, teachers bought right in. The kids used them, walking into classrooms, in and out. You see students using the Chromebooks every day for something. Maybe it's Google Classroom, maybe they're researching something, they're sharing documents through Google Docs. And we also provided our teachers with professional development throughout the year. And that was a huge help, I think, to them, to give them more tools how they would use those one-to-ones in the classroom. So I think it's just going to get bigger and better, and more used throughout the time, because now I think the teachers will take the summer and look at what they've done, and then they're going to add more amazing things that they're doing already in the classroom.
And Jamie, you use the technology
Oh, yeah.
and feel the same? That
Every day, yep. So, last year we were constantly having to run things off, killing trees after tree.
Yeah.
This year, everything is on the Google Classroom. So handouts, problem sets, they can take notes on the Google.
And that will really prepare kids
Yeah.
for college too, because
Yeah.
they're going to have a lot of hybrid setups
Absolutely.
with the technology at the college courses.
Yeah, I mean, most colleges have, you know, an online component, like with Blackboard and things of that nature, and also in industry. You know, we're getting away from pen and paper. Everything is virtual. Even you know, science analysis and things of that nature. It's all online, and they're moving from regular notebooks to virtual computer notebooks
Right.
for their data. And you know, and I think that the science department is moving towards that as well.
That's great.
And wanting to, you know, I mean, we live in Massachusetts, so of course it's one of the biotech hubs, and we want to be using the tools that they're going to be using in college and
That's
in
great.
industry.
So Mark, overall, the building, you feel it was a success. What, give me the top 3 things that you feel really are making a difference in the lives of kids as far as education because of the building.
I think the technology integration is huge. I think that covers all bases, all disciplines. I think it's really pushed, our education forward. I think the online components kind of go along with that, the virtual high school classrooms, the online components for that. I think the classroom spaces have been a unique learning environment along with the common areas, so those kind of go hand in hand. Having the common areas, around the building allow teachers the flexibility to send groups out in our block schedule to say, why don't you work out, in the classroom space, and then you can, work collaboratively. So that's also been huge. And I think just having the beauty and the usefulness of all the great other spaces. The auditorium, the gym, the cafeteria that's used throughout the day, and the learning commons, I think just enhances, again, everything that we're doing.
Well, and it's not like the cafeteria in the old building was truly just for lunch. You really didn't use it for anything else, but where it's the central part of the building, it's multi-purpose. And adding the projector and the big screen there, so it's really a multifunctional, so there's really no wasted space.
I agree.
And with the learning commons, having a flexible space that we've opened up after school makes a big difference for kids. So I think overall, I think we give it a thumbs up,
And we
haven't even tapped into what we can do yet.
And the fields outside. I mean, I think
Right.
that's kind of the next step, is utilizing the multi-purpose, so multi-use turf field, baseball field, tennis courts. So I think that's something to look forward to for us.
What's your biggest surprise in the building?
I think coming into it, we didn't know how the students would use it and the staff. I think on day one, we were kind of curious as to where they would go, where they would congregate, how they would use the spaces. And I think all along, we were continually surprised in a good way, that they did use the Google stairs, that they did use them for educational purposes and for kind of relaxing and doing schoolwork after school. So I think that was the biggest surprise and piece of excitement, to watch them move throughout the building.
That they actually used it the way we designed it.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
great. Well, thank you so much for coming today. I appreciate it. I'm sure that I will have you on many more shows that I have as we go through this Superintendent Spotlight episodes. Next year, I hope to do at least once a month. So I hope that you'll come back and join me sometime when we can get more specific into specific programs, and that would be great. Doing one on biotechnology and specific science programs would be a great thing. I think people would be really interested and excited about what we're doing on the high school level. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A few years back, when the NEAS committee came in and they did their evaluation, I was at their concluding presentation, and they said this system, okay, these teachers, these staff, these parents, these teachers, these kids have lived under poor facilities. But in spite of that, they have performed a Herculean effort in that we have achieved academic achievement. We have MCAS scores that can't be beat. We also have athletic and drama, achievements in spite of the facility that we had. So that's a credit to everybody that's here, everybody that's in the school system, the direction of Dr. Oakley, And I just am so excited, and I can't wait.
We will still have wonderful students making fantastic strides in grades, and they will just move into a building that will help them achieve even more as we see the 21st century in technology change and change and change. Thank you very much for just being fantastic.
Pull the dirt up. Look up so everyone can take your picture. Smile. On the count of 3.
Welcome back. And now I have some students here from the high school to talk about their experiences in the new middle senior high school building this year. So first, why don't you introduce yourself and your grade to the people watching?
Hi, I'm Nadira Mohan, and I'm in 10th grade.
Hi, I'm Hannah Flynn, and I'm in 10th grade.
Hi, I'm Michael Mishley, and I am in 9th grade.
Hi, I'm Michael O'Toole and I'm in 10th grade.
Thank you. I really appreciate you coming out here today to be on the pilot Superintendent Spotlight. So it's pretty fitting that the first show that I have is to talk about the new middle senior high school, because everything that we put into it so you would have the best possible experience that you could have as in your high school career. So some of the things that I want to get your opinions on and let people know is what you thought about some of the different spaces, like the common spaces, the Google stairs, the learning commons, the auditorium, the gym, some of the commons in the academic wing, and those types of things. The robotics lab, I don't know if you're involved in that, but we have you can see that we have a lot more different spaces than we had in the old middle senior high school. So Nadira, why don't you talk a little bit about what your first impression was when you saw all these different spaces and when you first came into the building?
I thought it was amazing how much more space we have than the old school, and the different things like the Google stairs and how big the library was and the different learning commons. And I think it's nice that people have an opportunity to go and study quietly if they need to, or a different learning space. So I thought that was nice.
What did you think of the new spaces?
Oh, I love it. It's much nicer than before, especially the auditorium.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much nicer and the air travels through. Oh.
Right, right. The AC in there makes
nice.
a big difference.
It's not cold. It's never hot. It's just great.
Great. Mike, what do you think?
I was just amazed when I first walked into the school. I just saw the size and I was like, this is going to be a great year, but where are my classes?
That's true.
Yeah, it was a struggle to find my classes, but it's like every single year, find out first week or two. And yeah, it's been great. This whole year's been amazing.
So let's, I have a question. One of the things that we wanted to do is make things flexible. So a lot of the furniture has to do that it can move around. We have some flip-up tables in some of the areas. We have in the common areas, we have some things on wheels that can roll around. So let's talk a little bit about the open space, like the common spaces. What do you think of those?
I think.
And do you use them?
Yeah, well, I do. It's nice to have something different and unique to, study with and stuff like that, and not to have the same old boring chairs. And the school, I think, makes it more fun since it has all these new things. So I think it's nice.
Good. Yeah. Any thoughts on those types of spaces?
Yeah, I love the common areas because we can sit in them before or after school, or even during class. We can go out there and work on individual projects. And the cool furniture in there makes it feel less like a classroom and more like a space we can do where we can be creative and stuff.
I like the common areas.
What do you do in the common areas?
I'm going to be honest here. I don't do much.
Okay.
I'm usually either in the cafeteria.
Yep.
This is for after school. I'm usually in the cafeteria or in the auditorium.
Mm-hmm.
But when I do find free time, I will roll around and play on one of those little rolly things.
Yeah, they are comfortable. Mike?
I really do like the commons, the nice, comfy roll-around chairs, like what Mike said. It's fun to roll around on those, have a good time while you're also doing classwork, get stuff done, nice and relaxed. And yeah, commons were a great idea, and I'm glad that you guys put it in.
Now, what about one of the big differences, too, in the classroom are the rockers. And although you probably don't realize how much time and effort went in with our school building committee on every little piece of furniture, just like these high chairs and other things, but we've really thought a lot about those rocker chairs. So what are your opinions on those?
I like them. I'm always rocking in classrooms, and it's fun. I think it's different, and I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never really noticed how much I use them until I go to a class where I can't rock, and I just love them so much.
Yeah, so you notice a difference once you're not in them anymore.
I have to agree with Hannah on that because I will go to, say, biology, for example, where there's these chairs that are on wheels, and I get antsy. It's kind of
That's interesting.
I want to rock, but I can't.
Yeah, that's interesting. Mike, what do you think?
I think it really helps with the problem with like the leaning in the chairs. Teachers aren't yelling at their kids unless they're leaning back a little too far. But yeah, it's fun. I like those.
Do you feel like you can concentrate more? I know one of the pieces of research out there is that constant movement helps with concentration. And when you're just sitting in a hard chair and it's over a long period of time, you start moving, but you don't have that constant motion. Anyone have any comments on that?
I think that it helps me definitely focus better because like I'm moving and then it gets the brain flowing. So I think it helps me personally focus better.
It's interesting because we're one of the few schools, actually I think the only school that I heard on the East Coast that went full classroom with these rocking chairs. So you're kind of trendsetters here. And a lot of people are going to be watching and saying, did it really work out? Because when we decided to do these chairs, there were many people saying, I don't know if I'd go out on a limb and get everyone a rocking chair. But we've had several schools that are being built right now. The administrators came and they really are thinking of putting the rockers in. So you guys are setting a trend here with that. What about another big difference, obviously, is the technology.
Yeah.
And the technology in a lot of different things, but now we're one-to-one. So what are your thoughts on how it went with the one-to-one and the Chromebooks?
I think it's amazing. Like having the Chromebook with you at all times, you gotta make sure you charge it, so
Yeah.
that responsibility is on you, but being able to have like unlimited amount of information on your fingertips at all times is the greatest thing that you guys could have given to us.
And you feel that that's helped you with your schoolwork?
Oh
and-
yeah, definitely.
Good. What do you think, Mike?
I love the one-on-one technology, especially the Chromebooks, because it helps save paper, because what would be a textbook this big is now on the computer. And it's great to have literally the world at our fingertips.
Mm-hmm. Ladies?
Well, I can't even, I don't know how I did my homework last year without them. Everything is so, on the Chromebook now, and I use it for everything. Even just to look up something on my homework, it's so useful.
I think it's better for everyone because it helps not only students like us, but students that don't have technology at home, and also the kids that can't get to internet fast enough, and the teachers. I think it helps us interact with them quickly, so I think it's good.
And have you noticed that teachers are using it more and more and getting more comfortable with it, and kids since September until now, June?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Feel a big difference?
Oh, yeah.
Very big.
Things seem to go smoother now than before.
Yeah.
So if we took away those one-to-one Chromebooks now, it probably wouldn't be a good idea.
No.
No, we're not going to. Good. I'm glad that worked out. So I want everyone to think about maybe one or two places in the building that you were really impressed with that has made a difference to you because you probably all have different interests. Some might be athletics, some might be drama, some might be the sciences and other things. So what really sticks out to you that you're really happy with that has helped you with your education?
I like the gym. The gym is really big, and I feel like it fit a lot more people and do a lot more activities in it. So I think that was very impressive how it expands so much.
Right. And the gym, we went from a 6,500 square foot gym to a 12,000 square foot gym. So, and it is very impressive when you go in there, but it's nice because we can actually house more events and more state events and things, but it's a nice facility. I agree. Hannah?
I really love the library because it has so many purposes, and you can go in there and work on a project, or go in there after school, or you can go on the computers and print stuff. It's really pretty and nice.
Mm-hmm. So, and actually that's one of the things we added was opening the Learning Commons after school.
Mm-hmm.
So did you find that was helpful?
Yeah, especially during midterms and finals.
Yeah, a place that you could go and you can either sit at a table or you can be in a comfy chair or you can be in a group, and that was one of the flexible things that we decided to do to try to make it more your 21st century library than your 19th century library that we that we had before. And one of the reasons we did the after school is because I heard a lot, especially freshmen and sophomores, saying that with school choice kids, if you get into a group project, sometimes it's hard without a license to get to a house in Bridgewater and a house in Brockton if you've got 3 people from 3 different towns in your group. But having this open after school, you can say, let's meet there, let's get this done, and then someone can pick you up from there. So, and plus it's a beautiful, beautiful view out of there. Once our fields are done, that will be the place to sit. We have to charge people to come in and watch baseball games from the spring. Mike, what about you?
I would have to say that one of my favorite places in the building is the music wing.
Okay.
It is so much more up to the times. It's nice. There isn't like mold spots now.
Yeah. No leaks coming in on you.
It really is wonderful. And I would say the second place that I really like is the auditorium. It's so much bigger. I am part of the drama club, so I've performed on that stage, and it's so much nicer. The lights are more uniform, and it's nice and cool in there.
And the sound system in there, it's, just going to the musical several weeks ago, the sound system, being able to actually have the music at a regular level and actually being able to hear the singers' voices that always got drowned out in the old auditorium just because the sound system wasn't that great. It's almost like it's surround sound. I guess our drama club was always that good, but the facility wasn't allowing them to be as good as they were this year because it was really, really a great production this year. You guys did a great job. Mike?
I'd definitely say the weight room. Football season's coming up soon, so I'm going to be in there for quite a while, and I think it's great how it's more open than the other one. The other one was kind of like a little side room off to the in like a little nook and cranny, and not a lot of good weights. And now there's plenty of good weights and very open. And the second favorite spot that I like is, I'd say, the courtyard. People may say it's like a jail, but
because of the gray, right? Yeah.
People, I say if we went back to the old school, people would really miss the courtyard. I feel like I appreciate it a lot, and they should, but it's up to them.
Yeah.
And I feel like you guys are just showering us with goodies.
Yeah, and it's nice because you never really got to eat outside before, but you can go out there and eat. I thought the most amazing thing was seeing high school kids go out and just like do hacky sack or toss the football or something, almost like a high school recess, but that's nice to be able to do after school. So, and as far as football is concerned, you've got this season coming up, a brand new artificial turf field, so that'll be great. So, anyone have anything else that they want to add about the building? I appreciate you coming today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm so excited that the town of West Bridgewater voted to put this new middle senior high school in, because the state-of-the-art for you is just going to make you that much more successful and be on the same playing field as other kids graduating from high school. So when you go to college, you're going to be that much more successful because of it. So I appreciate you stopping by today.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. One, two, three.